On average, you have 6 to 60,000 thoughts per day, most of them negative, most of them repetitive. And you think your affirmations, your 5 affirmations, 10 affirmations, that they make a difference. They don't. But let me tell you how they could make a difference from you. And I call this the resume method. And I've used this several times in my own life and with my clients' life to change their entire story. And if you are not new on this channel, you know that I have this saying, your story manifests. But if you're new to this channel, let me tell you about it. Let me tell you how to change your story and how that will ultimately change your reality. Because no rich person ever said, I am rich. Why would you say that? Why would you walk around saying that? Try to find somebody rich and find a clip of them saying, I'm rich. They will never say it. So why are you saying it to become rich? This is the very birth of the law of knowing, my method, where we remember that affirmations, they are supposed to be reminders. Affirmations are supposed to be changing your brain, changing your reality. But how can you do that if your entire thought process for the rest of the day is against you? Because every word is an affirmation. Good. Let's talk about it. Let me take a practical example of how I did this. So, I wanted a car, right? And we're going back 5, 6, 7 years, something like that. And normally, I could have done like you would do. I have a car. I love this car. Thank you for giving me this car. But then I thought, what would I say that if I have the car? If I had the car, would that be my process? If I had to go to the end, and we have all read the Neville books, if I had to be living in the end, would that mean that I would walk around saying, I have this car? No, it wouldn't. So what I did instead is I developed this resume method. Okay, I'm sitting in a job interview. I'm asked, who are you? Right? How would I then answer? Would I say staccato sentences? I'm rich. I am wealthy. I'm good. I'm no. I would not. I would tell it as a story. This is me. This is what I'm good at. Right? And another way you can do that is you can imagine that you're walking with your spouse or whatever, and you're telling them about this thing. So the natural language you would produce being asked about this thing you want. So what I did, I call this the resume method, and that is supposed to be to take you out of affirmation mode and into, so how would I tell this story about myself? Even if I write it down and I script it, how would I tell this story about myself? But what I did is and this came to me naturally in a visualization. I imagined the most nosy person in my family. I don't know if that's a word in English, but you have these family members they're just all up in your story, right? How did you get this money? What are you going to spend it on? Are you sure that's the right decision? They are always curious. Do you know what I'm talking about? So I'm going to call it nosy. Sorry if that's not a word, but I have this person in my family, and this person is very nosy. And I knew that if I had this car, this person, the first time I met this person, would ask me questions about it. Where did you get it? Why did you want it? What do you like about it? Wouldn't it be better to buy this other vehicle? Whatever, right? And I started having this imaginary conversation, making it real to me because I knew this would happen. And the affirmations that came out of that was wonderful. I got to talk about why I actually preferred this car and why I actually loved this car. And I got to show them in my visual scene what I enjoyed about the car. And I actually had them also enjoy the car and how many horsepowers it had and how whatever, right? Everything it did, then it becomes suddenly this wonderful mixture of affirmations where all of these sentences, none of them was, I have this car, I love this car, thank you for giving me the car. But actually, a sentence could be, it's, I just really love having a noisy car instead of having an electrical vehicle that doesn't make a sound. right? And I know that's a weird example of an affirmation, but that made it totally normal to my system, as if this is just the way I speak. So my internal dialogue changed to the point of having the car. And that is what living in the end means. So my entire mind went to that place. And then the unfolding of it was just automatic. It was just the sequential embrace of mystery where every moment I watched a YouTube video, I saw an ad online, everything just lined up to have me have this car. And no, I did not get it for free, but it was almost half the price of every other version of that car. I had it at the perfect time, perfect car. Yeah. But so does this make sense? That this is how to affirm. You change your language into the one that you would be, the speech you would have if you had this thing. I'm not saying you cannot reproduce your statements, I am rich, I'm rich, I'm rich. You're still expanding in the right direction, as long as you know that you are reminding yourself of the timeline where you are already rich. We'll talk about that in the next video, where I will tell you about how to start believing in the story that any possibility in reality is a possibility to you. And we will figure that out by looking into, so what is the fourth dimension? What is the fifth dimension? And by doing that, you will recognize, okay, so I can have any car, I can have any life, I can do whatever I want. Basically, yes, if you know it to be true, if that's your story. Okay? So, I think I might need to end this video. It's only 7 minutes, which is perfect for you. What I would like to do actually now is for you to tell me in the comments, so what's your story? And do this for your own sake. Don't do it for me. Do it for yourself. So don't try to do it right. I will not comment and say you did this wrong. What would your natural language be? So not I am this, which is also wonderful. I'm not trying to hate on you, but try to tell a story about this thing you want, or this love you want, or this health you want, but from the perspective of so what would my natural language around that be if I were there? So not the how, but the who. The ending station of who you would be. Does that make sense? So not going there, but staying there. Good. Tell me in the comments. I could give you 2 minutes now where I would just be sitting, but you know how to pause the video. So pause the video, tell me in the comments. Make a long, juicy affirmation, a story about who you are, and start building that internal dialogue to that point. So that instead of 60,000 words or 30,000 negative repetitive words a day, you decide what is being produced on your factory of creation. This is good. Do it. And then get out of here. Bye. By the way, these lines, that's the sun coming in, right? We made the video anyways. See you.